Good morning. I'm delivering this message from the lands of the Kaurna people. I respect their spiritual relationship with this precious land. I also acknowledge the Kaurna people as the custodians of the Adelaide region and that their cultural and heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. In addition, I pay my respect to the cultural authority of Aboriginal people who are participating this morning from other parts of South Australia and elsewhere in Australia. I'm honoured as Premier with responsibility for Aboriginal Affairs and Reconciliation to be able to participate in this morning's event. As a former board member, I thank Reconciliation SA for being able to bring us together at this very challenging time. The theme of National Reconciliation Week 2020, In This Together, was announced in January. This was before most of us had even heard of COVID-19. The months since have been some of the most difficult experienced right across our state, not the least of all in Aboriginal communities. And yet, it has been during these really hard times that we've seen some extraordinary leadership displayed. My heartfelt thanks and appreciation go out to each and every one of you who have done your bit to keep your families and loved ones safe. And my special appreciation goes to the leaders of communities that opted into the Biosecurity Act restrictions. These decisions were not easy to make, but I also know that they were made in the very best of intentions for the communities concerned. We may never know for sure, but I believe that we can assume that the restrictions of movement contributed to the fact that designated area communities are so far COVID-free. All of us have come together to deal with this virus. I'm immensely proud of the response of South Australians. Just as we've all had a role to play in dealing with COVID-19, the theme of National Reconciliation Week compels us to recognise that we all have a role to play in reconciliation. Reconciliation is very important to me. It's also very important to my ministers and to our public sector workforce. While government agencies have their own reconciliation action plans, we've been developing a whole-of-government RAP to reflect the diversity of reconciliation activity and projects across government. A draft whole-of-government RAP is currently being reviewed by Reconciliation Australia. We hope to finalise and publish it later this year. Its three objectives are 1. Creating opportunities for Aboriginal jobs and businesses, 2. Improving the quality and delivery of services to Aboriginal South Australians, and 3. Building strong and capable Aboriginal communities. I'm also pleased to advise that we now have 2,232 public sector employees self-identified as Aboriginal. This is the highest number ever recorded. While the value of public sector contracts being secured by Aboriginal-owned and operated businesses has risen tenfold over the past 4 years. I particularly commend Irma Ranieri, the Commissioner for Public Sector Employment, Ian Nightingale, the industry advocate, and their teams for driving this across-government effort, not only to recognise the importance of reconciliation, but to practice what it means. In closing, I encourage all South Australians to take up this year's theme of National Reconciliation Week to continue building strong relationships and trust as we all work to create a positive future for Aboriginal South Australians.